Hey everyone, this is Mike Tholfsen from the Microsoft Education team, and we're going to be doing our next session on at-home learning. So free learning tools from the Microsoft Education team, and these are really going to be focusing on accessibility. And I work on the education team. I'm a product manager. All my information is on this slide, so please take down my email, talk to me on Twitter. I have a YouTube channel that has lots of examples of the types of things I'll be demoing today, quick tips and inclusive and accessible technology. So definitely follow along there. And to get started, before we go into the demos, at a high level, the way that Microsoft thinks about our inclusive and accessible tools, it's really built into our mission statement, which is to empower every person on the planet to achieve more. And our education mission is to empower every student on the planet to achieve more. And that message in itself is inclusive. I like to say we're not empowering 84% of the people. We're not empowering 95.6% of the people. We want to empower 100% of all people to achieve more. Now, really quick, I put this up front because sometimes people have to leave early or they want to make sure they get a copy of the deck. This is a copy of the entire deck. There's a link here, QR code, and so copy that down if you need it. And if you talk about Microsoft and education, we really want to empower students to grow their potential, gain independence. We want to help educators and now parents with remote learning to be able to engage every learner. And then at a system level, how can schools meet their goals around equity and inclusion and accessibility? And so that's just a high level of how Microsoft thinks about this. From the pure accessibility standpoint, not just in education, just as a company, these are the 6 big categories that we focus on. And I'm not going to cover all of these today, but it's just good to understand the landscape because we have so many things that can help so many people. Most people I talk to come back and say, gosh, Mike, I had no idea I had access to all this stuff, or I already had all this stuff. I didn't even know, and it's free. My kids could use it, I could use it, anyone can use it. And if you want to get a detailed sway that really outlays all the categories and all the capabilities built into our platforms, this link right here at the bottom, write that one down because you can explore to your heart's content, and we always keep that updated, so it's really nice. Now I'll be talking today about the inclusive classroom. We call these our Microsoft learning tools. And we break it into these 4 categories, the classics: reading, writing, math, and communication. And we use the principles of inclusive design to really make sure that we're designing for all. Now, we might really help someone with dyslexia, but these same tools with reading will help with English language learners or early readers or mainstream readers or adult readers. It'll help with everyone, everywhere. And it's the same with these other categories. And many people historically have really thought about accessibility as maybe blind and low vision or deaf and hard of hearing, but it's so much more broad than that. And that's what we're really going to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about these tools that can be used with parents or with students at home during remote learning. The other thing is I'm going to be showing a lot of demos here in just a moment, and you're probably going to be sitting there saying, oh my gosh, Mike went through the Immersive Reader demo too fast. I don't know what button to click, or those math tools were cool, but I'll never be able to remember what he did. Well, don't worry. Everything I'm doing is captured in these interactive guides that are public and available to anyone, anywhere. Share them with your friends and your neighbors and your teachers and your students. Use them yourself, but they're web-based interactive click-through guides that walk you through click by click every single feature that I'll be doing today. So make sure you capture those as well. And lastly, again, resources are so important during this pandemic. I have a set of quick tip videos. I have a YouTube channel I started during COVID-19, and I put little 2- and 3-minute short videos. I've got an entire playlist and set of playlists around accessible and inclusive tools. So again, these really nice, short and sweet videos on their how-to videos on how to do these things. So with that, I'm going to move right into reading. Reading is core, it's foundational, it's something that unlocks the rest of curriculum and content in all education. So if you have students at home, this is something you're going to want to pay attention to, or if you're a student yourself who needs assistance with reading, because many students do. I'm going to switch to my demo, and what I have here is our good friend Word. Microsoft Word, it's in the browser, it's free. Not everyone knows that. We have free web apps, so this works in Word Desktop, but it also works in the browser, and it's available anywhere. So the thing I'm going to show is Immersive Reader. And this is something that came from a hackathon a few years back, and we said, what if we took the latest science and research around reading, and we focused inclusively on dyslexia as our core customer type, but solving around dyslexia would likely help a bunch of other people with reading. So that's what we did. So starting from the Home tab in Word, I've just got a plain Jane Word document. If you go to the View tab, you'll see this Immersive Reader button. And this works in, if you have Outlook.com, it's a free version, consumer Word in the web. It's in the Office 365 school and the corporate version. So I click the Immersive Reader, and we'll walk through what we're going to show here. Now, first off, you can see we reduce distractions of all the rest of Word interface, and we call this focus mode. At the bottom, you'll see this little play button here with the triangle. I'm going to click this.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be
We have Word and Read Aloud, Word highlighting, and we have line highlighting and Read Aloud built into Word. I can change the voice speed. I can go faster or slower. I can choose a male or female voice. In the upper right, if I click Text Preferences, I can choose a few things. We know from research there's something called visual crowding that some people experience. And if I click Increase Spacing, it reduces visual crowding. For some people, this can help improve reading speeds and focus and retention and comprehension. I can change the background color.
Quick question, could you show the Word document?
Could I show the Word document?
Yeah, we're not seeing it. We're seeing the pointer hand go over the PowerPoint.
Oh, that's strange. Let me try that again then. Let me share and unshare.
Thank you. It's such a great demo.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So here I am in Word. I'm going to click, I'm on the View menu in Word. I'm going to click this Immersive Reader button. It's right in Word. And I will reset a couple things just so you can see everything where it was. So here is in Word, we've reduced distractions. And at the bottom, there's this play button. I'm going to hit play and it'll read aloud.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography. Landforms can be mountains and valleys.
So that's the read aloud, and I can control the speed, faster, slower, male or female voice. And I'm going to go to the upper right and change the way the page looks. So we talked about increased spacing. If I turn this on, you can see all the spacing is spaced out. I can change the background color. Many people have challenges reading just with a white background. So these colors are tuned for accessibility. I'm just clicking through a couple of here. I can also change fonts. Many people prefer, especially younger readers, Comic Sans that a lot of people make fun of. Turns out the way the G's and the A's are drawn are the way that younger students are taught to write their letters. So these are a few different fonts you can change. And then I can make the text much bigger. So the text size, I'm scrolling up here at the top, really big text. That can be short line mode. That could be people with vision impairments. Might be people practicing their sight words. And I can scroll that back down smaller again if I need to. Now I'm going to click on grammar options. So breaking words into syllables. Very common technique. Students with dyslexia, early readers, non-native speakers, teachers might clap their hands and go syllables. Help people break down syllables. Well, using Azure in our cloud services, I click on syllables and we break all these words into syllables. You can see little dots between the syllables. And then I can highlight parts of speech. So I click on nouns and you can see all the nouns are purple. And I'm going to choose, maybe we'll choose red for verbs. And I've turned on verbs. I highlight the adjectives or the adverbs. I can even show labels. So if I can't distinguish any colors, those are visual distinguishing marks above the parts of speech. I can turn certain things off. I can customize the colors. The point is, I can personalize that content in a way that works best for me. Now in the upper right, I can choose reading preferences. I can make the background blue on this one, and I'm going to turn on something that's called a reading ruler. So if I choose line focus, that helps abstract the text and just gives a single line. So that helps focus my eyes. Could be ADHD, It might be students with cerebral palsy, could be dyslexia, lots of reasons why I might want to have this reading ruler. It's a little like finger reading where you run your finger under the line. And I can still play it.
Sometimes called physical features.
Automatically scroll.
It is important for students to know about the physical geography of Earth.
That keeps my eye on the same line, keeps that focus so my eye doesn't have to dart around the page as much. Then I can choose 3 lines or 5 lines. It's up to me in terms of how I want that line focus. Now I can go and click on a word and get a picture. This is a picture dictionary. So I click on Earths there, and now I can read it.
Earths.
Click on mountain.
Mountains.
Or valleys.
Valleys.
Now the last one is really powerful. It's translation. So in this case, I'm going to translate to by word, and I've got it on here. It's in French in this case. I've got over 70 languages. Maybe I want to put it on to Spanish in this case. And I'm going to click on rivers, and now I have rivers. And
ríos.
And if I want to translate the entire document, I choose document for this, and now I'm going to click play.
El estudio de las formas terrestres de la Tierra se llama geografía física.
And if that's too fast, I can slow it down with the voice speed.
Física. Las formas de tierra pueden ser montañas y valles.
And I can change to a different language, right? I can just go up here and maybe I want to do it in French, translate the whole document and hit play.
L'étude des reliefs terrestres de la Terre s'appelle la géographie physique.
Very powerful technology that's right at your fingertips in Word Online. And I go back to the original document in English and I'm in French. Notice the syllables are still broken. I can still highlight nouns and verbs in French, so it's not just English that this works in. So at the back button, and I'm back in Word. All that magic is right built into Word, but it's also built into Teams. It's built into OneNote. It's built into Forms. It's even built into the Edge browser. So I'm here in Edge Chromium, which is free in our updated Edge browser. Any content in the web, I'm just on a website here, a blog. I can select a chunk of text on this blog, and I'm going to go and right-click on it and say open an immersive reader. And look at this, it takes it. I've got text preferences. We'll choose a black background, break the words into syllables, highlight the nouns. Let's do that text spacing. I can even go and choose things like line focus. I can even click on different words in here and it'll give me a picture dictionary. So I have lots of different options. Here's the word tools. If I go turn on the picture dictionary, I can get a picture on that. I can even translate the entire page into French and read it out loud.
Nouvelle fonctionnalité, celle pour Microsoft Éducation.
This is a web page in Edge. So incredibly powerful. Again, all you do is select any text in the browser if you have Edge, and looking for a reason why Edge is better than Chrome. Well, here's a really good one. Right click, Immersive Reader. The other thing to mention is that we have this available in third-party apps, and I'm going to show that in just a minute. While I'm in here, I'll also mention we have a great website, and we're going to paste that into the Q&A. We've got an entire website on special education accessibility resources for remote learning. So not only does it have Immersive Reader, it has drill downs on all sorts of things about parents and remote teaching and learning at home, and all sorts of different supports for students, executive function, speech and language, mobility, vision, mental health. And if you drill into any of these, there's all sorts of quick tip videos, there's documentation, there's features on how you can use these things at home. So really, really helpful. This is a site that is our remote learning and special education and accessibility resources. So check the Q&A and the chat for that. So I'm going to flip back into the PowerPoint presentation really quick. So this is being used, well, in person it's being used, but it's being used at home all over the place right now and remotely. We have 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds using this, college students. We also have 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds using this as well, practicing sight words. And this is a quote. This is a great quote that really, I think, communicates the impact of Immersive Reader. I'll let people read it for a second. So all these things are built right in today and you can start using them. It's even built into third-party applications and learning management systems. So we've made this an Azure Cognitive Service that launched just a month ago. So for example, this is Canvas, one of the most popular learning management systems in the world. They've integrated the Immersive Reader. All these apps have integrated the Immersive Reader. Code.org, It's Learning, Safari Montage, Pear Deck, Nearpod, a lot of really popular apps out there. So the Immersive Reader is not just for Microsoft apps, it works on all these other apps as well. This is a really cool scenario. If I was going to give anyone homework on this call, if you've never installed something called Office Lens, install that onto your iOS or Android app. It works on iPhones, iPad, Android. It's free. And the Office Lens app will allow you to take a picture. So think about home learning. Think about being able to take a picture of a book like I'll take here with Office Lens. And when I take a picture of that book, it'll ask me where to send it. And I can choose the Immersive Reader right here. It runs OCR and immediately I can read that out loud from the app.
Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout. Would not take the garbage out.
All those things I just showed you in Immersive Reader, from the page of that book, I can increase spacing, change the background color, break words into syllables, parts of speech. I can even translate that photo I just took into another language and read it out loud and use the picture dictionary. So in this case, I click on ham, there it is in Spanish, and read aloud.
Jamones. Y aunque su papá gritaba y gritaba, ella simplemente nos
So
sacaba
that
la...
is Office Lens and it's free. Try that out. You'll blow people's minds with that one. It's just people love it, but it helps access content. It's universal content access. And we've got a bunch of professional development and training. There's information here if you want a deeper dive and even a longer demo on Immersive Reader. But I'm going to move on to writing. I'll stop in just after a moment after writing and I'll answer questions if there are some. But we'll move on to writing next and some of the tools that we have to help with writing and students who are maybe struggling. So especially students with dyslexia or dysgraphia, really challenging with writing. Just to show a visual example, this is an 11-year-old girl, dyslexia and dysgraphia, trying to write a 100-word essay with just a paper pencil, which can be really difficult, especially for students with dysgraphia, maybe mobility impairments. This is using Dictation and Immersive Reader combined together. She was able to produce this independently. And she was using OneNote because OneNote also has both speech to text and Immersive Reader. This is a 7th grade boy, dyslexic and dysgraphic. On the left is writing with a pencil or pen. On the right-hand side, using speech to text. So speech to text or dictation is incredibly powerful. And it turns out that we have added this across the board for Microsoft products, and it's free. So back to Word in the web again. If I go to the Home tab, there is a Dictate button right here. People might not have ever seen it. We've rolled this out about a year ago. So if I click on Dictate, like I will here, now I'm going to dictate in Microsoft Word, period. Our dictation is cutting edge and is some of the best available today, period. So you can see what we have here is a bunch of options, and I'm going to show the settings as well. We've got a bunch of different languages right here, and it's not only in Word, it's built into PowerPoint. It's built into Word Desktop. I'm just going to show my PowerPoint deck. On the Home tab, there's a Dictate button. We support all these languages. It's in Word Desktop. I've got Word Desktop here, and then there's a Dictate button. It's built into OneNote. It's built into Outlook. So we have dictation available all over the place, and that's built in and available today. So highly recommend that. Another one is something called Editor. I'm going to switch to Word Editor. Now, many people probably haven't thought about their spell checker since 1997, maybe, if you're lucky, maybe earlier. If I go to the Review tab, I'm in Word for the web, and it's the same thing in Word Desktop. I like to show it in Word for the web because it's universal. There's an editor button. There's no more spell checker. Where'd it go? Well, there's this thing called Editor, and this is next generation spell check and grammar check and a whole lot more. So what we have here is we have editor pulls up over here, an editor score, and it has spelling and grammar corrections, but there's all these new refinements that are really cool. So I click on spelling, and yeah, I can get things like your classic principle, and I can read it out loud.
Principle.
And I go on grammar, and I have the old effect and effect, and it does grammar checking, and I can read that out loud. But then it has these new refinements using natural language processing. This is next generation spell check. So things like formality. Instead of go bananas, maybe I should say go wild. Vocabulary. Instead of saying think outside the box, this is overused. Maybe I say think freely, think creatively, be creative. Things around clarity and conciseness, nothing versus anything. Inclusiveness. I'm pretty sure people don't use stewardesses anymore. And if you are, well, here's a correction. Maybe you should say flight attendants. And even sensitive geopolitical references, St. Petersburg versus Leningrad. There's also similarity checker, text prediction, which we'll talk about, and even a readability score and distinct words. So all this information, it's going to help people with dysgraphia and dyslexia. It will help people who have other challenges, maybe with mobility impairments, but it's going to help everyone. It helps me, it helps you, it helps my colleagues, it helps all sorts of people. And so this is that power of inclusive design where it's going to really help students that need it the most, but this is going to make your writing better all up. And it's just part of Word, which is really powerful. And then the last one I'm going to show is something that we call word prediction or text suggestions. So if I go to settings in Windows 10, so Windows 10 settings, and I go to text suggestions here, if you choose the text suggestions as I type on the hardware keyboard, this is like word prediction on your phone. So if you're typing on your phone and it suggests some words, that's word prediction. But word prediction is really helpful for students with writing challenges. So if I turn on text suggestions as I type, and now I go into Word, if I type PRO, see how it suggests probably, product, problem. That's word prediction. Yeah, it's helpful for some people, but it's a really big deal for people who need this help. Think about mobility impairments, think about dyslexia and dysgraphia. Type in SA and it gives some predictions here. So this is built into Windows 10, so I can use this anywhere in Windows 10 that I'm typing, and I can turn it on. So again, if you're someone at home who has Windows 10, go into settings and turn on that word prediction. Now I'm going to go back to the demo, and some of you right now are probably saying, oh wait, where did he turn that on in settings? I'll never remember. He went too fast. Don't worry, those are all captured in those interactive guides that I talked about in the beginning. They're interactive click-through guides. You can practice on your own. Those YouTube quick tip videos have it as well. So everything I'm showing is already captured, so don't worry if you missed it. And I'll stop here for a moment and I will ask Denise if there's any burning questions in the chat or the Q&A.
No, we're covering everything perfectly, so keep continuing.
Great. Well, next up is math. Actually, this is a great quote first on writing. This talks about editor and dictation, so feel free to check out this quote. It's pretty impactful. Next up's math. Math does not get a lot of love in the world of inclusion and accessibility, mainly because it's hard to do and it is expensive for people to pay for typically. And I'm going to show some stuff that is cutting edge and free. So it's a nice combo. And we'll talk about, it could be dyslexia, could be dyscalculia, ADHD, visual crowding, mobility impairments. So we want to help students gain independence. That is the key. And math is a tricky one for gaining independence in many cases. So I'm here in OneNote. OneNote is our digital notebook binder. It's free. I'm on the Windows 10 version of OneNote. This also works in the free web version of OneNote, these math tools, and it's coming to the iPad version of OneNote in just a couple of months. Now you've seen written math right here. I use digital ink, but this works with typing too. So if I've typed out my math, this works the same way. So don't worry if you don't have a digital pen or digital stylus. Works with typing math too. And we do have the ability to enter really cool equations in OneNote. So I've selected my math equation in OneNote. I'm going to go to the insert menu here and I'm going to choose math. It converts that writing into a math equation right here. I'm going to select an action and I'll say graph both sides in 2D. And immediately it graphs that equation. I can highlight, you can see the X and Y coordinates changing. I can say insert that on a page. So it's kind of cool. Like I got graphing and I can explore the X and Y axes. Well, we're going to do a lot more stuff now. So I click this again, and this time I choose solve for X. We'll solve that equation. Now imagine I'm a student at home and I'm working on math problems and I'm stuck and maybe mom and dad can't help for all sorts of reasons, or mom and dad don't speak the native language, or I need some extra assistance. I can choose show the steps. So show steps for completing the square. It actually has all of that math equation worked out step by step on that right-hand side. Super cool. Now, maybe I have visual crowding. Maybe it's hard for me to parse out the words with the letters and the numbers, and I just need some assistance. Well, lucky for us, there's this Immersive Reader button right here. I'm going to choose Open an Immersive Reader on the right-hand side. It'll take that entire set of steps, all the equations, everything we did before, it handles that in the Immersive Reader. And if I want to change the background color, I can do that. Can scroll down, click on an equation. Let's hit read aloud.
X squared plus bx equals c. 5x squared plus 3x minus 7.
Now maybe I want to translate this whole story problem into Spanish. Hey, no problem. We know we have translation. And now I can just read that out in Spanish.
5x al cuadrado más 3x menos 7 igual a 0. Añadir el 7 a ambos lados de la ecuación.
So I'm pretty sure there's nothing else on planet Earth that's going to show you what I just showed you there with the translation, conversion, and math solver. And this is all free. It's built into OneNote. Now, the other cool thing I can do is at the bottom, I'll close this. We'll start again so you can see it from the beginning. If I select this equation right here, I'll go to Insert and choose Math. Select an action. We'll do this again, solve for X. But there's another option, generate a practice quiz. So maybe I need to practice for a quiz. I'm practicing, and I've only got this one equation from my teacher. I want to practice more at home independently. I choose generate a practice quiz, and it's going to ask me how many questions would you like to generate. I could choose 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. We'll just leave it at 3. I'll click generate a quiz. So it's going to take that equation up here, 5x squared plus 3x minus 7 equals 0. And it's going to automatically generate a form with similar but different questions than we have up here. So now I can generate a quiz for myself. So let's say I want to choose and give the answers here. I'm going to guess these really quick. I'm working this at home. I hit submit. This is a form, so I can view the results and it auto grades it for me. So I can go here and know, oh, I got these two wrong. I guessed this one right, but I can automatically practice these and get access. It can even enable the Immersive Reader on these things and try that out. So I can even hit the Immersive Reader on the solve for X. So all of those things are built into my practice quiz. So this really enables independent math practice at home. I can get help myself. I can translate, use it in Immersive Reader, all of the above. And this all exists today. This is not future make-believe stuff. This is available today for anyone. Last thing I'm going to show is student and parent communication. Another really powerful set of features, again, around deaf and hard of hearing, but it could be non-native speakers, people who don't speak the native language. So first off, PowerPoint allows me to show subtitles. I'll show where this is. If you go to the slideshow, there's this always use subtitles. If I check this on, now just when I start up, it's going to turn on subtitles automatically. So it's starting subtitles. I've chosen Spanish. And so as I'm talking, it is captioning in Spanish along the bottom. And I can do this in 70 different languages. And it's incredibly powerful to be able to communicate in this way. Now, going on, we have other tools in PowerPoint. I'm not going to have time to show this next one, but Presenter Coach will allow you to present a PowerPoint. PowerPoint will listen to a student and give that student feedback on how they're doing. So in PowerPoint Web, I start Presenter Coach. It'll count my word speed. It'll listen to how many times I say and or like. If I'm reading off of the slide, it will actually tell me when I'm reading off the slide, and it gives you a report when you're done. So how fast you're reading, if you're reading off a slide, if you're using inclusive language. The one I am going to show, though, is something called PowerPoint Live. PowerPoint Live is something that just came out a few months ago. It's part of PowerPoint in the web, and it's available today. You can use it today, and it works in many, many, many languages, not just English. What it does is it allows you to generate a join code. I'm going to play a video here so you can see it in action, because you have to see it to believe it. It's one of those mind-blowing things. It's like Star Trek Universal Translator. People can join your presentation. It generates a join code, and you can use any device and choose your language and have it caption in the language you want. So I'm talking in English. It captions to one person in Arabic, one person in Chinese, one person in Spanish, and you can follow along in the presentation. So I'm going to flip to a short video here and play it so you can see what that looks like in action. So I'm going to make sure that I've got my volume cranked up enough, and I'm going to hit play down here, and we'll just show PowerPoint Live, and this is available today. I'll be demoing the new PowerPoint Live, which is built into PowerPoint Web and is free. This will let you present more inclusively and engage your audience. So I'm going to switch to the slideshow tab right here, and there's this new button, Present Live. And by the way, I can present either to people in my organization or school district, just for those folks, or I can choose anyone and make this available to anyone in the world. And I'll click Present Live to start. Now this is the join screen, and what I can do is up in the right, there's a PowerPoint link, and this is the join link I can give to anyone. There's also a QR code, so if you're in a Teams meeting, people can just hold their device up and join into the presentation automatically. Now you can see here the numbers of people who have joined is going up, and we'll get going. Okay, now I'm in PowerPoint for the web, and my live session is started. Also note that the link to follow along is right here up at the top where I'm highlighting. So first off, we can have students or participants join this session and choose their own captions and their language. That means we could have multiple people join and each person chooses one of 67 languages and it captions to them in real time on their device. And as the teacher or the presenter, when I move my slide, the participant slides moves, but the captions come through in their own language. So here I have someone with English, with Chinese, and another device with Spanish. So as I'm talking, it's captioning to them in the language they choose. At the bottom, I hover, there's a live session button. So that was the short PowerPoint Live demo. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but what you saw there was someone talking in English and 3 different devices connected from all over the world, in this case, can caption in whatever language they need. So that allows you to talk to, you could be talking to 70 different languages all at the same time. And that's pretty incredible in terms of the ability to communicate at scale. So we call that inclusive communication, and that's available today already. PowerPoint Live is. This is just an example of a close-up of a phone choosing Spanish, and it's captioning in Spanish as the presenter is talking. I'm going to wrap up here. We're just getting towards the end. Now, the last thing I'm going to show is the slide where we're going to talk about how Microsoft thinks about this. I like to say it's built in, mainstream, non-stigmatizing, and free. So no one should have to ask for access. It should just be there. And if you want to get a copy of this presentation, I'll put this up again. There's the link. Denise is going to paste that info into the chat. So email, follow me on Twitter. You can email questions as well. I also have the YouTube channel where I post all sorts of quick tip videos. I have inclusive reading, inclusive writing, and math and communication videos. And all the new stuff that we're adding, I'll be posting them right up there. This is the accessibility site. This is the deep dive on special education, accessibility, and remote learning at home. You can see all these categories: hearing, mobility, speech and language, vision, neurodiversity, mental health. It's an incredible site, especially for parents or educators. Encourage you to check it out. And then there's these interactive guides, like I said before. Everything I showed today are in these click-through interactive guides. So don't worry if you missed something. There's click-through demos that anyone can try. And I encourage you to share these. Share them with your schools. Share them with people that you know who might be interested, other family members. And other than that, I'm happy to answer questions that are left in the Q&A, Denise. And I can also, I'll stop sharing my screen here. And I'm happy to actually hop into the Q&A briefly. But if there's any key questions, let me know.
I don't have any additional questions right now. We've been answering them all along as we've gone on, and I've shared out all the links and all your contact information, so we're good.
Great. Well, other than that, thank you very much for joining today, and hopefully you learned something interesting and helpful.